Hello, fellow MGC members. This is Jay Dizzle. Just wanted to give y'all a little bit of content before we get going on the Season 3 rookie draft of MGC. I'm just going to go through free agency, and I took note of some of the best and worst signings that we made as a league, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on what were the best and worst contracts. I just want to start off by saying everything is very much opinionated. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to whatever. This is purely my thought and how I feel and how most people, I would hope, think that good team building is all about. So yeah, let me know y'all's thoughts on everything I say here and try not to go at me too hard. But I'm gonna start out with the best contracts. The best contract that I think happened overall out of anybody is going to be right here. Astro signing Tua to the 6 year, $60 million deal with no bonus at all, meaning that there's no penalty. So he's going to be able to use them for as long as he wants, and as soon as Tua becomes not, you know, usable or not the worth the 10 mil a year, which is absolutely ridiculously cheap for a quarterback. As soon as he's ready to get rid of him, he's good to go. Cut him whenever. Like if he wanted to, he could cut him right now. Uh, a big help with those no bonus contracts. People should really start taking note of that. Next up, got a little cornerback contract coming from the Chargers. We got Demidor Lenore for 7 mil a year for 4 years. This contract is silly. Everybody should have wanted him, and the fact that the Chargers now got a stud number two corner at the very least for 7 mil a year for the rest of the cycle, basically. Just perfect contract. There was probably 5 to 7 people building on him, and he got him for 7 mil. I find that pretty crazy. But yeah. Next up is our all holy commish with a signing of Austin Corbett right here. I absolutely love this because he's good enough to start anywhere on anywhere on the O line. You could start him at tackle. While he may not be the best tackle, he could easily be put there. And if he were to not want to put him at tackle, then he'd be an amazing interior offensive lineman. So getting him for what amounts to 9 mil a year is just perfect signing. I really can't say much more about it. Next up, it's going to be a little double signing from the Ravens. I really like what he did here. He also got a very nice corner that I'm sure a lot of people wanted, but he was a little bit far down, so maybe some people missed him. But 75 overall, 26-year-old star in Paulson Adebo got him 4 years, 6 mil a season. That's again a number two corner, probably signed for dirt cheap, and he's probably going to be there for the rest of the cycle. That's exactly what you want to do when you're building your team. And he also got this running back who looks real nice. If I didn't have my young guy, then I would have went for him. But where's he at? This guy right here, Jared Bradford. 9-1 speed, 6'1", 230. He's got the size. He's young, star dev. And I mean, he's signed for what, 4 mil a season also? I mean, I'm not a big fan of paying running backs, as you're gonna see with these worst contracts. Um, but this is gonna be his running back for what amounts to be the cycle, and he's signed for 5 mil a year, which it's pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's amazing, that, but Mr. Bradford along with Adebo, I think that Ravens did some great work. Shout out Meek. Um, and then lastly, I do want to give a little bit of love to myself. Um, this goes hand in hand with what Astro did, but I got Mr. Brian Cook right here. Signed him 5 years for 7.5 mil total. No bonus. He didn't want a bonus. Um, so I got him for 5 years for 2 mil a season, and this is my safety for the rest of the cycle. And I got him for 2 mil a season. And I know a lot of people probably didn't want him because he's only got 89 speed. But do a little bit of research. sign yourself a nice offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, I should say, and a lot of them give speed boosts. I think they added that fairly recently, so that's another thing people might want to start looking at, getting those good offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, and looking to sign people without bonuses. People should really start hopping on the wave. And now we're gonna go get into the worst contracts. Some people might be sad, might be mad, but again, it's just opinions, and this is not gonna kill anybody. But I'm not a fan of these. And I'm gonna start right here with the number one signing, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is amazing. Gonna get that out right now. He's absolutely ridiculous. But he's 29 years old, and this is when running backs really have already begun to regress. So he's only gonna go down from here, and he's signed for about 20 mil a season for 5 years. It's kind of a lot. It's gonna be all right for this first year. It's gonna be good for year two. Once you get to year three, four, and five, paying Chubb 20 mil, basically the least most valuable position on the field. 20 mil a year, that might bite you. I, I'm sure he's got a plan, but it's gonna be a little rough, in my opinion. Next up, we got the Pats, and again, this is not the end of the world signing. I liked it. It was definitely a need, but I think he overpaid. Right here, Derek Brown, one of the best free agents available, but he's only a star dev. And for D tackles, if you don't have abilities, I don't really know how you're gonna develop that. So the fact that he signed right here for almost 25 mil a season, I personally would have went for an 80 overall at what 10 mil, like right here, 81 overall for 10 mil. Rather take him. Another one, 80 overall, 10 mil. Rather take him. Browns got them by 7 overall, but it's worth triple the cost. I shouldn't say triple, 2.5 times the cost. But I don't know, just not a big fan. I feel like defensive tackle is a pretty replaceable position if you don't have abilities on it. But yeah. Next up, my boy Fall Section. He's gonna absolutely hate me and make fun of me for this, but Mr. Jordan Poyer right here. Great player, great abilities, but he's 34 and you sign him to a 3-year deal. Don't know if I can get on board with that. Same thing with Chubb. First season's gonna be great. But after that, and he starts dipping down into 86, 85, 84 speed. Doesn't matter what defensive coordinator you get because a speed boost will get them up to maybe 90. And, for a safety, I don't know if that's going to do it for you. But this first year, he's going to be great. So have fun with it there. But same thing with Chubb. Once we get to that back half of the contract, you're going to regret it, I think. Um, Next up, we got the Broncos. He made a curious decision with running backs. He went ahead and let go of Javonte Williams, who signed with the Patriots for, you know, standard running back contract. Not a big fan of paying him, but he's a superstar, 25 years old, so if you're going to pay anybody, I understand this guy. But the Broncos decided to let him go. Which, okay, you wanna cheap down on the position? Go ahead. I don't blame you. That's what I do. But you wouldn't sign Mixon to the same exact cost, and he's not a superstar, and he's old as hell for a running back. So you're basically saying that you like Joe Mixon as a more valuable asset than Javonte Williams, and I just completely disagree, and I would hope that the league disagrees. But everybody builds the team that they want, and I'm sure it'll work perfectly. So there you go. And then lastly, we got another sort of curious decision sort of thing when you take into account what other players at the position were making. It's going to be the Vikings right here signing Kadarius Toney. Signed for 17 mil a year. Yes, he's a great player. Yes, he can get upgraded very easily. But any receiver can get upgraded really easily. So when you're paying 17 mil for one, especially when Amari Cooper is getting paid 17 mil a year. He's got all the abilities you're going to need off the bat. You don't have to worry about deving him. You don't have to worry about focusing on getting him all the stats you need in order to get him the abilities. So if you're going to spend 17 mil, go for Cooper, go for Allen, in my opinion. Or if you're not going to go for one of the elite guys, I think you got to go with one of the periphery wide receivers. Because Bateman, I like Bateman better than Tony, and he got paid less than Tony. Rondell Moore here, I don't know how he's any different than Kadarius Tony. Yeah, he's smaller, but Kadarius Tony's so skinny in the game. I don't really know if he's the sort of big receiver that you're trying to get. So I think Rondale could do the same job, and he's half a little bit more than half the cost. I myself signed Elijah Moore. I got him for crazy cheap. Got him for what, 3-4 mil a season. And people might disagree, but I do not think Kadarius Toney is much better, or I should say more valuable, because Kadarius Toney's even older by a year. Got one more speed, but I signed him for a fourth of the cost as Tony, and I'll be able to develop him just as easy when I get him 1,000 yards. So, hmm. And then we got there's actually a couple more. Curtis Samuel, he went for 5 mil. He's got more speed than Tony. Yeah, he's older, but I mean, I don't know. I think the money could have been spent. The money could have been spent better elsewhere. But yep, those are my main takeaways from everything. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Obviously, I'm wrong a lot of the time, so y'all let me know what I'm wrong on. Y'all let me know what I'm right on. And good luck on the draft, everybody. Can't wait for season 3. Let's get this going. All right, y'all.